Week 2. In week 2, the theme is taking action, and you'll understand that as you go through the reading. So again, it defines what the students will be reading. There's a mention of a what if game that I'll explain in a little bit. Then there's the reading discussion, and then they are introduced to their commercial break project. Please read through the details of this project and let me know if you have any questions about it, because that will help me know if they will have any questions about it. There is an example outline that for them to look at that they could use as a model. They make an outline of their commercial, and then later on they're going to critique each other's. So here is the grading rubric that will be used for that activity. Step 2 is the outline feedback, and it tells when that's due. Again, that's due in week 2. Then there are steps 3 and steps 4, and those are not due until week 4 of the class, but everything is outlined here. Also, if they need technical assistance on their commercial, this helps them with that as well. So I'll go ahead and click the next button, and let's see about the grading for week 2. So this is their week 2 discussion. It covers what they read about in pages 75 through 88, and then here are the prompts for them to respond to. You're looking for them to respond to the prompts and then to respond to each group member. And then they pray for their group, and also they are to finish reading the rest of that book. Let's go to the next page. This is where they submit their commercial outline and they conduct the review. So what they'll do is they'll come to this discussion area, they'll click the reply button, they'll attach their overview. Then step 2, the outline feedback. Each student will read and post constructive comments on each group member's outline. So by the end of the day on Saturday, they will have commented, given feedback. Now please know they can change their outline. It's fine. That would be fine, or they don't really need to change the outline. They could change their product. It may not match their outline that they developed, but we're looking for them to grow. And then I did add a little discussion in there if they need technical help. And sometimes students are really good at helping each other with technical issues. So that's not a graded thing. It's just for people to help each other. I'm going to add a little bit more to the week 2 grading hints. First of all, now that we have students in the class and they're working in groups and we're all learning how this is working better, you can see when you come to a discussion area, you can see which groups have things that have been posted to them. This is displayed beautifully on the week 2 reading discussions because students were really in there yesterday editing and commenting to each other. So you can see your group and you can see the interaction. Look at group 5. It's going to town. So lots going on there. So you can see how they're progressing. This also can be a quick overview, so you can, not that they're late at all. Their first post isn't due until the end of the day Wednesday, but you can kind of see if you're group 23, 24, and 25-ish people, then you want to be watching those groups. They're not late yet, so it's these folk are active. So I wanted to make sure to show you that. But I did want to show you these outlines. They are so great. I wanted to show you this assignment where people are turning in their commercial outlines and getting ready for students to review them in their group. You can see where ones have been turned in. I could click on the group name and get into them, or I can come to the grades area and search out my students and go look at what was submitted. But I want to come here to the commercial outline break. So I'm going to come and just find one real quick. So here's Megan's, and I'll click on her little cloud in the corner, and then more details in the speed grader. And there I can see I read Megan's. She was the first one to post, and I just had to comment. I of course didn't grade it, but I just had to comment, and I can see she's commented back to me there in the grades area. But she didn't attach hers, which is no problem. She could put the text right there in the post. That's fine. She's got a great thesis and the background. Her her descriptions are wonderful. I mean, really, these are clever, clever things. I just had a huge smile as I read through hers. Now, when it's time for you to grade these at the end of the week, you will click on View Rubric, and you can see the criterion there for each area. And you read, I often just look at the first one because sometimes they hit that right on the mark. So here includes convincing, compelling title, thesis, audience. Per audience, everybody's audience is the same. Background and text and flow. I'd say yes, this person got 30 points. So I'd just click on that 30-point one. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't want to mess up anything. Then living a good story principles. Living a good story principles. Principle or principles is or are motivating, and I would say 10 points on that. If you don't think that's quite right, they are less than maybe they're difficult to discern, that would be worth 5 points. So those are the two area there. And the last, review contributions. Provided constructive comments to all group members by the end of the day. Oops, on Sunday that's going to be, so I'm going to go in there and change that to Sunday. So if Megan responds to each group member with feedback, then she would get the 5 points. So I'm going to go change that rubric right away. So that's how you would grade that one at the end of the week, like Monday morning of next week of week 3. So you don't need to grade them ahead of time unless you see that everybody in the group has done their work. They're pretty impressive. They're a pretty impressive group. And that's it for week 2.